Okay, thanks for tuning back in, everyone. Today, I have a 50 caliber. It's a muzzle loader. It's a Knight, and it's not an expensive muzzle loader. It's just a synthetic stock, basic inline muzzle loader. And I'm shooting 100 grains of Powerdex and a 45 caliber bullet inside of a sabot. And I have a couple flamingos that are back there laying down, and I'm going to shoot at them, and there's just some painted spots in the old pallet. Don't really have anything to shoot at to speak of today, but it's going to be about the gun, and I'll get some side shots, some slow motion, how it's going to kick and whatever. But of course, it's a capper. It doesn't take the 209 primer. It actually takes the percussion caps. So I'm just going to load one up, and as we go, I'll change camera angles, and I'll show you more about the workings toward the end of the video. Let's shoot something. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try to, sometimes it's hard to get just one of these percussion caps to come out instead of 2 or 3, but you put it on the nipple and pull. And sometimes if you take your fingernails and slightly crimp the cap before you put it on, it'll hold it better. I've noticed some caps work better for this nipple than others, but let's begin. I'm going to shoot the pallet with this first round. Alright, the scope's on the money. It's not really a hard kick. Muzzleloaders are strange. That black powder, it's just more of kind of a push, and you've heard people say that in the past, and I mean that's exactly what it is. It's just a slow push. 100 grains of Powerdex, shooting I'll get the grain, I think it's a 230 grain 45 caliber bullet. Let's reload. I'm gonna film this reload, and then that'll be the only one, and it'll start going faster. Okay, so reloading is extremely simple. I can put another charge in this and another sabot and bullet without cleaning it. You can do that. Some guns vary, but you can do this probably twice. I doubt the third bullet without cleaning it would be definitely hard to put in. You'd probably have to put the ramrod against the tree to actually shove it in. I don't do that, but I will load it this time. It's pretty hot today. I will load it this time without cleaning it. So this is just like a pipe cleaner, 2 Powerdex pellets. Just drop them right down the muzzle. Nothing to it. And before I ram the other bullet in, I'm going to cock it and then spin this down to safe. That's how that works in these Knights. You just spin that down until the red line disappears. Make sure the old cap is removed. Dump it out. So now that that's done, it would be better if you had a more stable way to do this, but okay, so here's the bullet. Try not to drop it like I did. But this one just happens to have a plastic nose or whatever, and then the 45 caliber sits inside of this. I like to use a little bit of boar butter or equivalent. Just makes it a little bit easier. All right, so you just set it down in there, pull out your rod, find the starting end, which would be the bigger end right here. Actually, I have an actual starter right here. It kind of makes it easier without you don't get all the wobbling around effect. Make sure that you keep this muzzle pointed away from your face, just in case something horrible happens. You may not die. Okay, I hope this is in frame. You just ram this down until it sets against the Powerdex, just like that. You can store this back in here, just like this. Now what we're ready, all we have to do is cap it. and I'll wait to do that until we move. But you cap this right here, and we'll shoot another round. Okay, so I'm gonna put on another cap. And see, that one didn't stay. That's what I mean. Sometimes you have to crimp them a little bit with your fingers, your fingernails. Just one side, sometimes that's all it takes just to get a little tighter seal. There we go. Spin it back off till you see the red line. I'll back it all the way until it stops. Okay, on fire. Let's shoot something. I'm gonna take out that pallet again for this one, and we'll shoot some flamingos. It's a pretty good thump at 100 grains. I like it. This gun's rated for 150, which would be 3 power deck pellets, but I don't think it's necessary. I think you'll lose accuracy. And the bullets inside the sabot, they're fantastic. They go in easier. I like them, and they're smaller, so they're going to be faster. That's just the way it is. Okay, let's reload. All right, here we go again. I'm going to shoot that closest flamingo with this. It's on safe with the actual bolt on safe as well. It's a redundancy. Spin that back to fire. Put it on fire. Yeah, at this distance I'm shooting a little bit low, but it hit the target. Reload. Oh, and I loaded this one. The third bullet went in without cleaning the barrel, and it was considerably harder. I'm going to clean this time and then reload. All right, so real quick, all I did was I had some break-free powder blast, and of course, the same rod, the ramrod I used to seat the bullet, has a screw in that you adapt and you put on the cleaning swabs or whatever. And I used the patch with just soaked, saturated with break-free powder blast, and I cleaned it, and then I went back with a dry patch. It's by far not clean, but it made the bullet go right in. It's fine. Man, it is hot today. I'm having a meltdown. All right, let's shoot it again. Flamingo. Well, that is what you don't want to happen. We'll let this cook for a minute. I'll be back. Okay, so when I tried to shoot the 4th round, my nipple was completely clogged with carbon and whatever, so the gun actually didn't go off. A little bit unnerving, but I took the breech all apart, cleaned it with break-free powder blast. It's hard for me to say. Alright, that was an audible thump boom. Well, there's a definite delay there. I didn't notice it so much on the others, but really got to stay on target, and if you flinch pulling the trigger on one of these, you're liable to miss your target bad because there could be a delay. So let's reload and do it again. Alright, I've noticed that where the Knight has placed, I don't know the model number on this, and I don't know, it just says American Knight, made in USA. It's a Knight 50 caliber, but this is exactly where I want to put my hand, and it's uncomfortable. Where they had put the sling, the forearm is so short, that is uncomfortable for me, and that's where I have to hold it. Anyway, okay, one more round to finish up the review, then we'll take it back to the truck and have a closer look at it, and I'll take it apart for you. One last flying flamingo. I better cap it first. All right, there we go. Put them in frame. All right, let's take it to the truck, take a look at it. Okay, this is a Knight 50 caliber muzzleloader with a synthetic stock and a Simmons 3 by 9 by 40 millimeter scope. This is a good example of a nice muzzleloader for not a whole lot of money. I mean, I shot good groups at this at 75 yards, and it'll do better than that. When we bench shot it, it was tight, and everything that offhand stuff I could go show you. But I mean, if at this distance we were shooting, at some point I think I was at, I don't know, 40 feet. But I mean, it was just to show you the gun, not necessarily the marksman capabilities of the weapon. Anyway, this assembly, it doesn't get any easier. I mean, you just, the first thing you do, of course, make sure that your gun is clear and there's no percussion cap on the nipple. There's an Allen wrench right here at the base of the gun. It holds the stock to the actual barrel, and so I'll spin this out. Okay, take this out. That's all you have to do to separate the two halves. So take your stock, set it aside. This part's next. The trigger. When you drop this, if this is cocked and you pull this out, it'll cause the bolt to slam forward. So make sure it's decocked. Once that's done, unscrew the back of your bolt, and the barrel is still quite hot from all the shooting. This is the bolt. We'll spring it all, it stays together. Just make sure you clean that real well. Now you have to have what they call a breech plug removal tool. This has been setting in the sun, so I can't hold it very long either. And they have holes in the back of them, and I just try to orient it to where you can get a screwdriver in the hole. And if you use boar butter or anti-seize lubricant on your breech plug, you're going to save yourself a lot of headache, because I've seen these absolutely be a nightmare to get out. But I keep mine lubed up so well that it just comes right out. And that's what this looks like. This gets absolutely filthy. Alright, so now that that's done, now you're down, you can see plumb through it. I don't know if I picked it up on film, but anyway. What I do, on the bed of a truck, I'm just use break-free powder blast, and then I just clean it absolutely as good as I can, as well as possible. And then what ideally what you would do, you would have this sitting in a bath of soapy water, like Dawn dishwashing detergent or something is fine. just don't submerge your scope unless you're confident that your scope can take it. But then this acts as kind of the siphon. You stick the barrel into the soapy water, and then you put your patch on, and then you just keep doing this over and over again, and it will thoroughly clean the bore of your weapon. But anyway, that's how that's done. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and squirt some brake free all over this and get it all cleaned up. Okay, again, this is not how I thoroughly clean the bore and the entire barrel, but from the, like I said, on the bed of the truck, this is just an example of what you can do between shots. And that's what I did, because that third bullet is very difficult to push in. So anyway, just kind of hold the patch like this. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. Then going from the breech side, I kind of give it a little spin right there in the front of it, and push that down until you can feel it touch your finger. Actually, you can't from this side. I forgot. You have to push it all the way out. Like that. And you can see just with one pass, I'm going to go ahead and get a clean patch. Do it again. And really, that's all it takes. Just a pass with a really wet one, and then a pass with a dry one, to quickly get you back in business to start shooting again. Do that on your. If you do that every second shot, your third bullet going in will be much easier. But like I said, there you go. There's that. That's just how to quickly get you back into shooting. I'm going to take this home. Of course, I'll show you how to put it back together now. Okay, putting it back together is straightforward. Once everything is thoroughly cleaned and you soak this and scrub this with a Dawn dishwashing detergent, or just whatever dishwashing detergent you have, get all that greasy, oily residue and all the carbon and powder off of it. Put everything back together. That goes in there. Use your breech plug tool. Spin it back in. And when everything is good and clean, all you have to do is get this breech plug in there until it stops. Not a whole lot of torquing is necessary, because it's just a fine threaded. Your trigger, you have to, actually I'm skipping a step, put your bolt back in, screw this down. Anti-seize or board butter on that is great. It'll keep it from seizing up on you. Now here's what I do. Man, that barrel is really getting hot. I'm going to have to get this done. Okay, putting the trigger back in is pretty simple. I rest my hand against the scope, and you just pull this back, lining up the screw in the front end of the aluminum trigger to the screw hole there. At a certain point when you pull this back, actually put it on, there you go. Pull it back and tighten the screw. It's a little bit tricky, and it kind of takes a little bit of practice to get fast at putting the trigger back on. At least I find that it is. Tighten it down. Spin that down to safe. Just align your barrel inside the stock, look down it and find that screw hole of the big screw you took out. Put that in. And we'll wrench it back down. And there you have it. Another thing I wanted to show you too. If you have the rod that came with your muzzleloader, the ram rod, cleaning rod, and you place it inside the barrel, if you can just see a little bit of the rod, you know it's not loaded. This is important because if you put it down in there, there's another mark on the cleaning rod that I made to know that it's loaded. What I did, I loaded it after I knew that it was unloaded, and then made a scratch mark around the end of my cleaning rod. And when your rod stops here, of course, you know not to put another charge in it, because if you tried to fire one that's double loaded, I think it could be deadly. So don't, you know, make sure you know and you understand what's going on, because you go ahead and take the breech plug out if you're not sure, and push the rod all the way through it. Make sure the rod goes from one end of the barrel and out the other. Do not pull the trigger on a double loaded muzzle loader. Could have dire consequences. But anyway, that's just some advice. Not muzzle loader, 50 caliber, shooting it was a 250 grain bullet, 45 caliber inside a sabot, making it, of course, 50 caliber projectile. Okay, well, thanks for joining me again. It's been a real pretty day. Night 50 caliber muzzle loader, synthetic stock with a Simmons 3x9 by 40 millimeter scope. You know, as far as just likes and dislikes of the weapon, I don't like the short forearm of the synthetic stock. I wish they'd have carried it out a little further, give me a little bit more room. I'd like to reach right here. Maybe if the sling could have been attached further up, it would have been more comfortable for me. But if you get one, you think about buying a muzzleloader, check that out. You know, throw it up and make sure that where you want to hold it, it's comfortable, because that's kind of important. You know, you want to be able to appreciate the grip that you have in your weapon. And that's my only dislike. Taking it apart and put it back together is simple, and I don't have a problem with it. But anyway, if you can take anything from this, give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe to my channel. 50 subscribers to date, so you know that's a milestone for me, and I appreciate the subscribers. And stay tuned. Glock 42, and I'm going to try to compare a Glock 19 Gen 4 to my Glock 23 Gen 4, 9mm, 40 Smith & Wesson respectively. But thanks for watching. Is this where I was? Yeah.